space. I hope that you responded to your question. Thank you.
Andrea Farsak, retired Foreign Service. I would like to ask you about the family code, the Mudawana, which was also reformed by King Mohammed VI a few years ago. I would like to know, to have an idea of the reforms that were introduced in the family code and how it is being implemented, and is it being implemented successfully? Thank you.
I'm very sorry for you. I'm not really, I don't know this matter that much. That's why I did not mention it, in avoiding to ask me questions about it. But I only have some ideas coming from the ordinary citizen I am. Yes, I think the major reform of the Mudawana is that the first, when you get married, we have to make sure that the future husband is not married with another woman. And this is very important, so you have to declare either you are married or not. Second, you have not only to, if you are married, you have to get the authorization from your first woman. If she says no, so there will be nothing. If she says yes, okay, the door is open for that. Second, the question of inheritance. Before, women inherited only, I think, it depends on the situation, but let's say the third, generally speaking, depends on the situations, different situations. Now, you have to share. Yeah, equal. There's an equality between men and women. And other things that I can remember, it's the age of getting married. You know that in traditional societies, to get married in the age of 12 is not something strange, weird. But now, the future wife has to have 16 years old, and the man 18 years old. And still, you have some social secular movements that are demanding to raise up the age to 18 for both of them, either women and men. So that's what I can say about that. I'm sorry if you really...
In one of your slides, you had the statistic of 18,900 of the imams in the 30,000 mosques, which is about 2/3 of the imams, were Islamists. And that raises several questions. One, how did that come about? What can be done about that? And is it cause or effect? In other words, is that a reflection of the increasing Islamization of Moroccan society? Or if you change the imams, do you actually change the beliefs of the people?
Oh, this is a very good question. If I'm a sociologist, because I think that the changes come from the bottom, from the population, from reality, and not from the top. That's what the political sciences think. They think that if we change the top of things, we can influence the bottom of things. So that's why I'm saying that Sufism is an important concern. So now we are asking, your question is about the mediation between the population and the states, which is the ones of the imams. So the imams are, the preach of Friday, or the advising or the consulting is not something neutral. If I tell you something which is maybe political one, but I can bring some religious and sacred arguments to enhance it, you will take what is policy for religion. And so we have the kernel of the manipulation of mentalities. So now, if we at least control the mediations between the population and the states, we can be sure that the state's policy can go through the population, and this is, as I mentioned, also an ideological conflict, ideological struggle. So, in my opinion, the Imams are not directly Islamists, but they are influenced by some Islamist ideas. And ideology is about ideas too. So, how to reinforce the institutions, but at the same time you have people that are against or doing the contrary of what you're asking them to do. So these Imams are now submitted to a training, but not only a cultural religious training, but an ideological one, which is an open struggle. I don't say that the Islamists are doing well what they are doing, but it's not used to be the cases of many states in the Muslim world and in Morocco also. So we hide the reality, the real reality, which is the one. There is an ideological struggle between traditionals and Islamists. So how to influence this? By leaving them propagating ideas that go in the contrary of what the Moroccan state is intending to do. I guess that it's a real issue, and the ideology is important in dealing with and against Islamism, not only in Morocco, but all over the Islamic world.
Good afternoon. My name is Radwan Masmoudi. I'm with the Center for the Study of Islam and Democracy. Good to see you again.
Salam.
Salam. First of all, I'd like to question a statement that you made that political Islam is not popular in Morocco. Al-Adala wa Tanmiya is the second largest political party in Morocco. And there are many studies that show that Al-Adl wal-Ihsan is even more popular than Al-Adala wa Tanmiya. So if you combine all the Islamists groups together, I think that, they are popular. They do represent a very large segment of the Moroccan population. That leads me to the question. The question is, we have to define the terms, I think, a little bit more carefully. One of the biggest mistakes that people make here in Washington and around the world is lumping all Islamist groups together. As if they are all radicals, they're all extremists, they're all a threat, to democracy, or a threat to the political system, or a threat to the West. I think this is an extremely dangerous path to take for the Moroccan government as well as for the U.S. government or any other government. So I would really want to quiz you and ask you to really define the terms. What do you mean by Islamist? What do you mean by radical Islamist? What do you mean by political Islam? And what are their views on several issues, including democracy and human rights and women's rights? Because I think it's really dangerous to use these terms interchangeably. Islamists and radical and extremist. I think there is as you know, Al-Adala wa Tanmiya is a main party within the parliament. Believes in democracy, has been supporting the political system. So that's my question. So
thank you for this question, because we are bringing back to what I am, a sociologist. So what I mean by Islamist is a religious man who is using religion for political purposes. That's clear. It's not for worshipping God. It's not for being sure to go to heaven, but being sure to go to the state, to hold the power. But not to hold the power because the population are willing to, but because either they are manipulated by religious threat, which is to make people fear. If not follow you, they will go to another. I would say not to jail as within the secularist regimes, but go into hell with the religious regimes. So this is the first distinction I can make between Islamist and Muslim. Okay? The second one, which is radical Islamist. What is a radical Islamist? A radical Islamist is the one who denies to the people the qualification of choosing their own government. by